It's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet Main News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Yambo. Top stories in the news. Chapter 1 Foundation sues ZAMRA and ZMMSA over expired medical supplies. LUANGWA chief pleads with government for a relief food program following destruction on crops caused by heavy rains. President EDGAR LUNGU attends burial for late Tanzanian President John Magufuli in Dodoma. And in international news, CONGO-BRAZZAVILLE'S main opposition leader GUY-BRICE KOLÉLAS dies from COVID on Pole Day. And in sports news, MICHO drops Russian-based duo and puts SALULANI on standby. We have more news after this break.
I'm Ambassador Frank Butsavilla. My 50 years journey in the media has now taken me to Camnet television. I'm very excited to join this amazing inner family. The importance of governance issues cannot be overemphasized. Every Tuesday at 20:45, I'll be going under the skin of a governance issue with my guest. I'll be interrogating the guest so that you can make an informed decision. I'll be coming on every Tuesday at 20:45 with Frank on Camnet.
Welcome back. Several fields in LUANGWA district have been destroyed due to severe flooding. Senior Chief Mburuma of the Nsenga Luzi-speaking people of LUANGWA district has since pleaded with government to quickly put his subjects on a relief food program as they are expecting to harvest nothing due to their destroyed crops. The chief said this when the LUANGWA establishment, which was in the area to assess the damage caused by rains, paid a courtesy call on him at his palace. Meanwhile, LUANGWA establishment chairman Joseph Felemenga has described the situation as dire, needing urgent help not only from government but other stakeholders. We have more in the following report.
On the 13th of March 2021, government, through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, reported that over 260 farm fields and 6 school structures in LUANGWA district were flooded due to the backflow of the LUANGWA River. 1 week later, a trail of destruction is visible even without asking what happened to the farm fields. This prompted the LUANGWA establishment to visit the area to ascertain the extent of the damage so that they can try to lobby support from well-wishers, among others, that may want to help the affected families in LUANGWA. The first stop was a smallholder farm belonging to Agnes Mwanza near Kaunga Stream, who has completely lost everything she planted.
Vakulya kochosa ni mavuto koma mundo naonongeka nalima maningi konse kuja kuchokera huku ubwera so paka huku konse umu mamema ona kamana mweze milisi inafaa size ya so ameneze nakomola mwa bridge koma yose naonongeka na manzi pempo kuli boma kuti panene kapalia chininga chite mugamwaona tiala kuti mphamvu nenze nazo zolima koma vuto ni manzi.
The establishment also paid a courtesy call on Senior Chief Mburuma of the Nsenga Luzi people of LUANGWA district to share the same sentiments, urging government to continue helping the people of LUANGWA.
Zoona mwaona aliko so manje nikuti tonthoza na kutipasa njira kuonesa kuti boma singa tirekerere kuti tifwe na kuonga boma kuti tiangana fika pa vose hivyo boma ina para ku bantu iko pima kuti making sure kuti manzi zaona urubwani so vamezi ngakambe kuno ifwe na boma hizo kuti kaito natuma kuwina muntu anaona so tingakamba tinjala kuno for sure iliko na vamene tinalima kuti tingalieko anaona kuti hivyo vaenda hivi so kuti nzoona kulira kwatu kulira kwa kusati kwa mwano yaye kulira kwa zoona ndipo timadalira kuti boma iliko kutianganisa ndipo so tikapo tikepo mpamvu yakuti munga malamulo mulungu kuti usagwira ntchito usadye.
And Senior Chief Mburuma spokesperson Stella Mumba has called on government and other experts to help finding a lasting solution to the flooding situation in the area.
The valley, the riverfront differently. Okay, yeah, because most of us have our fields by the riverfront. Now, to make a field, you have to cut the trees. Okay, so now that also helps. I mean, it will not stop the floods, but it stops the intensity of the flood on the area. Yeah, but the other thing is, I think we have a different mainstay. We do goats commercially, and we do these short-term crops, not maize. We don't have that advantage for the maize, although we grow it for food. The weather forecast a bit earlier. Yeah. If we have them a bit earlier, because most of us have got 2 fields, one by the riverfront and one Mchabalo. So it would be Asembe tulima Mchabalo. Chino chaka berima Mchabalo, they are doing very well. The ones that the rains have been good, the crop has been good.
Meanwhile, LUANGWA Establishment National Chairperson Joseph Elemenga thanked government for the quick response in offering relief food to the people of LUANGWA.
A disaster in LUANGWA district. As you can see, the crop here is damaged. We don't know what our people will feed from this season going into the next season. However, I want to thank the government, the Department of ZMMSA for the work that they are doing in Feira or LUANGWA district. LUANGWA has been identified as one of the worst affected by these floods. So our appeal is that the government must continue what they are doing to ensure that people do not die of hunger. Then I want to thank the works of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. EDGAR for moving in so quickly to ensure that no one dies of hunger.
Last week, DMMU listed LUANGWA among other districts that are receiving relief food, at least for some time, and to assess the flooding situation being experienced in the areas. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News.
So you have Zimbabwe there, Mozambique there, you have...
Residents of Lusaka's Kabanana compound in Mandevu constituency have complained of poor health care delivery at their health post. They are concerned that the clinic has limited services and it is unable to meet the growing demand in the wake of population growth in the area. Those interviewed by Camnet News are calling on the government to upgrade the health center. We have more in this report.
Mandevu constituency is the second largest constituency in Zambia by population, the current being 459,929 according to the 2019 random sampling survey by the Zambia Statistics Agency. With such a large population, the need for improved healthcare services is cardinal. In Kabanana compound, Fumbero area has been deprived of development. It is believed that the area is shared between Pulungu Ward 23 and Rafael Chota Ward 22, but both councillors have not been able to represent the people adequately on developmental needs. In Fumbero area, this health post is not able to attend to all health issues, hence the people are forced to go to other communities, and with the bad road network, it has been difficult to navigate the area, especially at night. They are calling on the Ministry of Health to consider upgrading the health post so that it can meet the demand amid the ever-growing population.
Kabanana Fumbero area tipe clinic tikafuna okumana akadwala tikabwera apa no mankwala nkungwerere tipata compound so tepemba kuguli boma tifuna kuchamba changaleko pa clinic pano pali bemanzi palibena mankwala so mailo neze kuno mazo futi nabwelesa futi mwana so tufuna kotandizo chukuru maningi tufuna te clinic abena mnatetera akanika ngono maningi palibe chani ka palibe matoileti palibe manzi pano onani vana wakasona bwela nako mailo palibele bawaji mailo mwana wina ngana.
We want the government to hear our cries. We are really struggling. We would be glad if the health post is upgraded.
This boy, Pasana Chokana, come on a clinic because of lack of facilities here. Coming all the way from Kabanana to Kamal just for a clinic.
As for me, I had to take my child to Kamawala Clinic in order to access medical attention because other services are not being provided here. They hardly give us medicines. Most of the time they give us prescriptions.
Efforts to get a comment from the Ministry of Health proved futile by broadcast time. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Chapter 1 Foundation Limited has sued the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority ZAMRA and Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency ZMMSA in the Lusaka High Court, demanding an account of how the internal quality assurance systems within the agency failed to uncover defects in medicines and medical supplies that were procured or stored by it prior to their distribution. Chapter 1 Foundation demands that both defendants give the public an account of the extent to which all the recorded medicines and associate substances have been distributed, including quantities distributed, dates of distribution, locations, and an estimate of the number of people exposed to them. We have more in this report.
Stakeholders have continued to take keen interest in the expired drugs and defective condom scandal, with the latest having Chapter 1 Foundation, just like its earlier threat that it will sue the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency and Zambia Medicine and Regulatory Authority if the two organizations fail to give the public information on the drugs that have been recorded within 7 days. Chapter 1 Foundation has done so by suing the two organizations before the Lusaka High Court, demanding that they give an account of the extent to which all the recorded medicines and allied substances were distributed, including quantity distributions, dates of distribution, locations, and estimate of the number of the people exposed to them. Chapter 1 Foundation submits that ZAMRA and ZMMSA have failed to perform their statutory duties by exposing the citizens to substandard medicines and medical supplies that have untoward effect on their health. It states that Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority is required by Section 5C of the Medicines and Allied Substance Act to regulate and control the manufacture, importation, exportation, and distribution of the medicines and medical supplies. It further states that ZAMRA is obligated by Section 5K and G of the Medicines and Allied Substance Act to establish, maintain, and enforce standards for drugs quality control laboratories and to serve the public interest in all matters relating to the sale of medicines and medical supplies. According to Chapter 1, ZAMRA is also obligated by Section 54 of the Act to verify the safety of quality of medicines and medical supplies that are manufactured or imported into the country. Whilst Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZMMSA, is obligated by Section 5K of the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency Act to establish and maintain an internal quality assurance system for efficient operations compliance with regulation and quality of medicines and medical supplies. According to Chapter 1 Foundation, both ZAMRA and ZMMSA have a duty in carrying out a record to effectively establish the extent of the distribution of the substandard medicines and medical supplies and alert the members of the public who are at risk. It argues that both ZAMRA and ZMMSA breached its duties under the Medicine and Allied Substance Act. It states that the two organizations failed to establish internal quality assurance system to ensure that the medicines and medical supplies it procured, stored, and distributed was to the required standard and fit for the use and consumption prior to their distributions. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
President Edgar Lungu Monday morning joined other heads of state and government representatives at the burial procession of late Tanzanian President John Pombe Magufuli, who died on the 17th of March 2021. The procession was held at Jamhuri Stadium in Dodoma. The head of state has since described Mr. Magufuli as a selfless leader who resolved to bring about socio-economic transformation and prosperity among his people. President Lungu says Mr. Magufuli's death will forever be vividly imprinted in the hearts and minds of the people of Tanzania and the rest of Africa. President Lungu says the strong bonds of friendship between Zambia and Tanzania are cemented through, amongst others, the two countries' historical bilateral projects of TAZARA and TAZAMA pipeline. He says as such, when the late President Magufuli hosted him to a successful state visit in November 2016, Zambia and Tanzania reaffirmed their commitment to transform the projects for improved trade not only between the two countries but for the SADC region. President Lungu has since returned back home. President Magufuli will be laid to rest in his hometown of Chato in Geita region, northwestern Tanzania on Friday, March 26, 2021.
We will forever be vividly imprinted in the hearts and minds of the people of Tanzania for his selfless resolve to bring about social, economic transformation and prosperity for all Tanzanians. President Magufuli will be remembered for his immense contribution to the growth of the South African Development Community, SADC, especially through his recent chairmanship of the regional body. On our part as Zambia, our strong bonds of friendship are cemented through, amongst others, our historical bilateral projects of TAZARA and TAZAMA pipeline. As such, when President Magufuli hosted me graciously to a successful state visit in November 2016, we reaffirmed our commitment to transform these projects for improved trade, not only between our two countries, but for the entire.
Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Minister Raphael Nakachinda says water resource management fosters gender equality and social inclusion while supporting the creation and maintenance of jobs across all sectors. Mr. Nakachinda, who was represented by the ministry's permanent secretary Mavuto Sakala, says there is need to recognize and to learn to value water as it is critical for food security, health, ecosystem, and a vital source for the reducing of a burden of disease and improving the health and welfare and productivity of populations. Mr. Nakachinda said this Monday morning during the commemoration of the World Water Day under the theme Valuing Water. An African Development Bank represented by Water Aid Director Pamela Chisanga says an effective sanitation system is designed to protect and promote human health by providing a clean environment and breaking the cycle of diseases which cannot be achieved in the absence of water.
The importance of water cannot be overlooked as it plays a critical role in fostering the development of an economy and a vital source of livelihood. Animals, plants and human beings all depend on water for survival, meaning the survival of the world largely depends on water. And on the 22nd of March 2021, Zambia has joined the rest of the world in commemorating the World Water Day under the theme Valuing Water. The commemoration took place in Kafiwe at the Lolanda Water Treatment Plant, where the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Permanent Secretary Mavuto Sakala took time to visit the plant and appreciate how water is being treated.
Government, through my ministry, is accelerating interventions to promote the protection and improvement of catchment areas. This is aimed at ensuring that they remain protected as recharge zones and river sources. To this effect, the Water Resources Management Authority is scaling up efforts to protect water resources. Government is also and will continue to promote and develop early warning systems, rainwater harvesting and infrastructure development to foster sustainable management and development of water resources.
And the African Development Bank, represented by Water Aid Director Pamela Chisanga, has pledged commitment to supporting the water sector in Zambia.
Water variation is the driving force for decision-making that considers productive, equitable, and environmentally sustainable use and consumption of water resources. In addition, we cannot overlook the relevance and symbiotic relationship that the water resource has with sustainable sanitation. An effective sanitation system is designed to protect and promote human health by providing a clean environment and breaking the cycle of disease, and this cannot be achieved in the absence of water.
Water remains an integral part of life and a serious factor in any country's developmental aspirations. It need not to be emphasized that water is a catalyst to many economic activities, as without it, agriculture, tourism, mining, and many others cannot thrive.
Water is life. Sanitation is health. The need to continue preserving our water resource is important to keep life afloat, and notwithstanding the fact that power generation in the country is largely dependent on water, hence the need to ensure that water is well preserved. Prudence Tota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Challenges of not having clean and safe drinking water supply for some households on the Copper Belt is now a thing of the past. Kafuo Water and Sanitation Company is making strides to ensure that all households under its areas of operations have clean and safe water supply. The company has cited the increase in supply of water to households by up to 21 hours. The water utility company also joined the rest of the world in commemorating World Water Day. We have more in this report.
Zambia has today, March 22nd, 2021, joined the rest of the globe in commemorating World Water Day under the theme of Valuing Water. The theme has come at a time when most households are facing numerous challenges in having access to safe and clean drinking water. However, whilst the situation might be gloomy in other parts of the country, the situation is different for Kafuo Water and Sanitation Company. The firm has made tremendous strides to ensure that households in catchment areas have access to clean water supply.
In the past 1 year or so, Kafuo Water and Storage Company has actually continued with its objective of providing water and sanitation services to its over 65,000 customers or accounts. And the way those services and sanitation, the way those services have been provided have come through the improvement of hours of supply to our clients.
The firm has also managed to refurbish most of its existing infrastructure.
We rehabilitated all our water treatment plants and also our wastewater treatment plants. As we are talking now, all our plants are operating at full capacity.
Okay, the project which we have been doing in recent years have been basically to transform the company and improve our level of performance.
However, the advent of COVID-19 has not spared Kafuo.
But we have also been guided by the ministry that we need to ensure that water flow is constant at all times. And we have exactly done that. And the customers are just prompted, being advised to be consistent in clearing their bills.
Access to clean water is what every human being endeavors and aspires to have.
Lusaka City Council LCC Assistant Public Relations Manager Thelma Mbewe says the local authority through the Department of Public Health has continued to provide key services that are cardinal in preventing and controlling the rapid spread of the coronavirus. Ms. Mbewe explains that the council has been on the edge since the pandemic broke out in May 2020 in Zambia. According to her, the council has up-to-date undertaken COVID-19 prevention activities in the form of enforcement, compliance monitoring, follow-up of complaints, sensitization, issuance of COVID-19 permits, and disinfections. Mr. Mbewe has disclosed that since the pandemic broke out in Zambia, the council under the Public Health Department has inspected and sensitized over 16,500 premises, including restaurants, bars, markets, bus stations, among others. Meanwhile, the country has in the last 24 hours recorded 86 new COVID-19 positive cases, bringing the cumulative number of cases to 86,535 and 2 deaths, bringing the total number of deaths to 1,182.
Since 2020, when the first COVID-19 case was recorded, the local authority has inspected and sensitized a total of 16,518 premises around the city, and these include bars, markets, bus stations, churches, restaurants, shopping malls, among others. Lusaka City Council has continued to implement COVID-19 prevention activities in the form of enforcement, compliance monitoring, issuing of COVID-19 permits, and disinfections of various premises around the city. Since the first case of COVID-19 was reported in 2020, the Council has inspected and sensitized a total of 16,518 premises around the city.
You're watching Camnet Main News. We'll take a break. We'll have more news after the break.
You know I can take her a break.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Dr. Bigron, musayibala komunti enda ukuni gift na land. Uchinkubeti uibise mojo basayone. Oh! Mwina moshi, nakuletera njinga. Latest inaluvesi gear na mawaipa.
Gift code tili ashia njinga. Liam 19 pendef code. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipunsana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a Camnet difficult.
It's communication. We got it.
Inemomi! Powerful system ndimba ndimba. X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale. Na mnaimo muli bankumushi. We got it. Yo Bigron, utola inoleta nchemfule mungani. Get you watch the poster and change. 1, 2, 3. Both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
Welcome back. A cook at Lusaka's intercity bus terminus has accused her employer of undressing her in a search of 100 kwacha note she was accused of stealing. Ruth Musenge tells Camnet TV News that her boss is so abusive that such every time her and other workers are made to go through such ordeals when such matters arise. But her employer, only identified as Cecilia, has denied ever abusing her workers, but accused Ruth of being in a habit of stealing the little money the restaurant makes. We have more in the following report.
Human right is something that needs to be respected even at a place of work. But for Ruth Musenge, it is something that she claims she doesn't get from her employer. Musenge has accused her employer of undressing her in search of a 100 kwacha note she was accused of stealing.
My name is Ruth Musenge. I am a resident of Kanyama. I started working at the restaurant at Intercity Bus Terminus on the 2nd of March. At my workplace, my supervisor accused me of stealing 100 kwacha and told me to remove my clothes, but she did not find any money on me. My concern is how I was treated and chased from work.
However, her statement is different from that of her boss, Cecilia, whose supervisor at his restaurant. She denied ever abusing her workers, but accused Ruth of being in a habit of stealing the little money the restaurant makes.
My name is Cecilia. I operate from Intercity Bus Terminals. I supervise at my auntie's restaurant for almost 5 years now. On the material day, Ruth got 100 kwacha and hid it. When I asked her why some notes were missing, she refused of having gotten anything. But when I requested that everyone get searched, Ruth decided to go in public and remove her clothes. But I never asked her to do so.
Meanwhile, Concerned Citizen for Justice and Human Rights Director had this to say.
We condemn the employers who are abusive to the workers. I think we cannot tolerate as a country a situation whereby the workers are being abused in such a manner. And being a woman, she's a woman who's supposed to be dignified, respected, and she can a situation whereby again she has been undressed by a fellow woman. I think as a country we totally condemn. Further, we appeal to the Minister of Labour that these entrepreneurs or other employers who are coming to this country to make sure that they follow the right procedure instead of abusing the rights of the Zambian workers.
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Crushers and Edible Oils Association of Zambia says exploiting of prices of soybeans by briefcase buyers in the country has been contributing to the low production of soybeans in the country. Association Director Mainonge Chiwumba says much needs to be done to ensure that soybeans farmers are protected from being exploited in order to increase production. He says increased soybeans production will contribute to the increase in the production of edible oils, whose deficit is currently at about 150,000 in the country. And Mr. Chiwumba says Zambia has an installed capacity to produce over 250,000 tons of crude edible oil, which is currently not being utilized.
At the end of the day, what we want is for the farmer to be the one who benefits, not the middleman. And unfortunately, our current agricultural marketing system has allowed a very big growth for middlemen, which they exploit to their advantage. So I don't know if you recall in 2016, I think President LUNGU was somewhere in Serenje, and he was shocked that farmers were being paid 1 kwacha 80 per kg of soybeans. That was in 2016, right? Now, that was a combination of many factors also. We had a lot, 2016 we also had a lot of smuggled edible oil that was coming in, which was killing everybody. And if you remember, more or less in 2016, we saw Zamanita exiting the market. It closed its factory because it just couldn't see any possibility of running out of profit. So those low prices of 1 kwacha 80 were not being passed on to the factories. Okay, so we were not buying at 1 kwacha 80 per kg. We were probably buying roughly around about like 3 kwacha per kg. Yeah, and then that profit in between was being kept by the middleman. So yes, you're 100% correct that the marketing structure in its current form does not favor the small-scale farmer, and something needs to be done about that.
Chikondi Foundation President Bishop John Mambo has observed that the tendency of mixing political party affairs and the running of government is retrogressive to national development. Bishop Mambo says approaching government matters in a partisan stance is devoid of national unity and coexistence. He has underscored the need to ensure that any political party which will form government after the August 12th general election must endeavor to draw boundaries between partisan politics and national governance.
Let me qualify this. Let the people choose. If they say PF must come back to power, but not as the government. They must come back to power as a party. If they say MMD, New Hope, my neighbors member, let him come back, let him be voted into power. But we should never make a mistake come 12 August. Because in 1991, I was in the forefront, young, with energy, running up and down. And say, yeah. From one part state, we have many parties and whatever. So we made one mistake. We voted for party, which later on formed the government, instead of drawing a straight line. Government on its own, like President EDGAR LUNGU, should not stop me from seeing him at State House or Nkwazi House or Nyerere House, which you call State Lodge. He must see me and ask me, why are you saying this? And I'll tell him. You say, these people are not telling you the truth. Because now, listen to me carefully. I'll tell you what is happening in the township. I'll tell you what is happening in the village. The majority, you surround yourself with good friends, and good friends will advise you. But currently, the president, good as the humble president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa-Lungu, is surrounded by my yes man. In some words, someone who can even take the tongue and shine your shoes. The
opposition leadership movement has scrapped off nomination fees for candidates wishing to contest on its party ticket. Party National Chairperson David Kalumba says the party wants to create a level playing field for all those wishing to stand on its party ticket in the forthcoming general election. Mr. Kalumba says elections are not a preserve for the rich only. He states that every aspiring candidate, rich or poor, must be given an equal opportunity, saying no one should be disadvantaged based on financial muscle. Mr. Kalumba says all those eligible and wish to stand as MPs, mayors, council chairpersons and councillors on its ticket have up until April 9 to apply and will not be asked to pay anything. Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP, has described the recent ruling of the Constitutional Court on the Grade 12 certificate issue as a golden opportunity for the youths to fully and actively participate in the governance of their country at all levels, from local government to parliamentary. Mr. Tembo explains that this is because it was more difficult to get a full Grade 12 certificate in the olden days than it is today, which translates that the majority of Zambia's senior citizens are unlikely to be in possession of a full Grade 12 certificate as defined by the court, despite having comparable intellect. Mr. Tembo observes that the Grade 12 requirement, as defined in Articles 70 Cap 1 and Cap D, Articles 100 Cap 1 and Cap E, and 153 Cap 4 and Cap C of the Republican Constitution favors the young generation over the old.
As patriots for economic progress, it is our considered view that the recent Grade 12 requirement ruling by the Constitutional Court of Zambia actually favors young people compared to the elderly people in our society, because it was very difficult in the olden times to actually obtain a full Grade 12 certificate compared to the way it is today. And so the youth of our country obviously have a golden opportunity to ensure that they fully and actively participate in the governance of their country in the upcoming general election at all levels, whether it is councillor level, district chairman level, or mayoral level, or parliamentary level. They need to ensure that they stand up, step forward, and are counted in the management of national affairs.
You're watching Camnet Main News. We'll take a break. We'll be back.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me. Yes! I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin! Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
I'm Ambassador Frank Mutsabila. My 50 years journey in the media has now taken me to Camnet Television. I'm very excited to join this amazing inner family. The importance of governance issues cannot be overemphasized. Every Tuesday at 20:45, I'll be going under the skin of a governance issue with my guest. I'll be interrogating the guest so that you can make an informed decision. I'll be coming on every Tuesday at 20:45 with Frank on Camnet.
Welcome back. In international news, the leading opposition presidential candidate in Congo-Brazzaville, who was seriously ill with COVID-19, has died hours after polls closed. GUY-BRICE KOLÉLAS died on a plane taking him to France for treatment, his campaign director said. Hours earlier, the 61-year-old had appeared in a video shared on social media where he removed his oxygen mask and told his supporters that he was fighting death. He urged them to vote in Sunday's poll. The electoral law doesn't annul the election if one of the candidates dies. Mr. KOLÉLAS, who was diabetic, was one of the 6 candidates running against President Denis Sassou Nguesso, 77, who has been in power since 1979, except for a 5-year period after losing elections in 1992. Congo-Brazzaville has officially recorded more than 9,000 cases of COVID-19 and 130 deaths. The country has imposed a nighttime curfew in the 2 main cities of Brazzaville and Pointe-Noire and closed its borders due to the pandemic. However, campaign rallies were allowed with not much sign of people respecting social distancing or wearing masks.
My dear compatriots, I'm in trouble. I'm fighting death. But nevertheless, I ask you to stand up. Go and vote for change. I would not have fought for nothing. Fight for it. I would not have fought for nothing. Some of his last call to his compatriots were battling COVID-19 complications. The Congolese opposition leader GUY-BRICE KOLÉLAS died of COVID-19 complications Sunday, his campaign manager said. The main rival of President Denis Sassou Nguesso in Sunday's presidential election died in a medical plane en route to France. Campaign manager Rodrigue Mayanda told AFP the deceased was in the lead in many localities, adding that CODE will continue to count the ballot. The opponent had tested positive for COVID-19 Friday afternoon. KOLÉLAS was unable to hold his last campaign meeting in Brazzaville. A few hours before the election, he posted a video in which he claimed to fight against death.
It's now time for sports news. Russian-based duo of striker Evans Kangwa and midfielder Klings Kangwa, together with South Africa-based defensive midfielder Salulani Peri, have been dropped from the final list for the back-to-back AFCON qualifiers. The trio was initially named in MICHO's squad for the back-to-back Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Algeria and Zimbabwe, but was later on dropped with Salulani put on standby. Salulani was expected to make his return to the Chipolopolo setup after missing the last two qualifiers against Botswana, while Klings Kangwa played in the two games. Evans Kangwa, on the other hand, had captained the Copper Bullets in the 2-1 friendly match win over South Africa last October. The Chipolopolo boys have two must-win Cameroon 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Algeria and Zimbabwe on the 25th and 29th of March, respectively. This story is courtesy of Zamfoot Sports. Meanwhile, Chad was disqualified from African Cup of Nations qualifying on Monday because the country's government dissolved the Soccer Federation. The Confederation of African Football said it ordered Chad to forfeit 2 games scheduled for this week as 3 new losses. Chad was to host Namibia on Wednesday and play at Mali on Sunday. The team was already out of contention to qualify for the final tournament in Cameroon next January and February. The CAF decision is one of the first taken under its new leadership. General Secretary Veron Mosengo Omba left FIFA to run the Cairo-based governing body after South African billionaire Patrice Motsepe was elected CAF president on March 12. Motsepe was elected unopposed as part of a deal brokered by FIFA President Gianni Infantino. FIFA could now suspend Chad from world soccer. FIFA statutes allow for member federations to be suspended when governments are believed to have interfered in the independence of elected soccer officials.
Chad was disqualified from African Cup of Nations qualifying on Monday because the country's government dissolved the Soccer Federation. The Confederation of African Football said it ordered Chad to forfeit 2 games scheduled for this week as 3-0 losses. Chad was to host Namibia on Wednesday and play at Mali on Sunday. The team was already out of contention to qualify for the final tournament in Cameroon next January and February. The CAF decision is one of the first taken under its new leadership. General Secretary Veron Mosengo Omba left FIFA to run the Cairo-based governing body after South African billionaire Patrice Motsepe was elected CAF president on March 12. FIFA could now suspend Chad from world soccer. FIFA statutes allow for members' federations to be suspended when the government are believed to have interfered in the independence of elected soccer officials.
We've come to the end of the news, but before we go, we'll take a look at the headlines once more. Chapter 1 Foundation sues ZAMRA and ZMMSA over expired medical supplies. LUANGWA chief pleads with government for a relief food program following destruction of crops caused by heavy rains. President Edgar Lungu attends burial for late Tanzanian President John Magufuli in Dodoma. And in international news, Congo-Brazzaville's main opposition leader, GUY-BRICE KOLÉLAS, dies from COVID on Pole Day. And in sports news, MICHO drops Russian-based duo, puts SALULANI on standby. Our verse, the Camnet verse of the day, is coming from the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 4, and it reads, "You are from God, little children, and you have conquered them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world." That's all we had in our news. Join us tomorrow. Bye-bye.